Hey guys, welcome back to another Java programming tutorial, and today we are going to be talking about the five basic types of variables that are used in Java. There are, I believe, 9 different types, however the other 4 are more complex, and at this stage I don't think I'm going to try and get into them, but I hopefully will later in this series. Before I open this up and just start showing you the types, if you don't know, a variable in any programming language is a set declared value that holds the place or takes the value of another piece of information or value, such as a word can take the place of a number, and you'll see that in a few seconds. I already have a pre-made program, or sorry, not program, class that I just wrote down some notes in that you can look over while I'm explaining this. I'm going to open that up now. And just a side note, I believe I forgot to mention this in the previous tutorials. When you're declaring the class name, or sorry, not the class name, the file name, such as basic variable explanation.java, such as that, the class name has to match up with that. So I can't have the file being named basic variable explanation and just have this be basic explanation. And we'll get an error here, and it's basically telling us that it's not defined. So these two have to match up, or else it's not going to work. So that being said, I'm going to move on. The first variable type in Java, and I believe this is also used in all other programming languages to my knowledge, is the int value. Integers, as said here, are numerical values that are whole numbers, and they're integers, obviously, because it's int, meaning that they can't have any decimal. I'm not going to read out this number, but here are the maximum and minimum values for this. And examples such as 3, 53, -12, and 0. So as you can see, there are no decimal places, or else it can't be declared as an integer value or an int variable. It can, however, be negative, such as all other numerical variable types can be. Moving on, there is the double variable type, as seen here. A double is also a numerical value type of integer. However, this one can contain decimal places. As seen in this comment, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, comments in Java is started with 2 backslashes, or down here, as you'll see, 1 backslash and an asterisk, and then ending it with an asterisk, then another backslash, as seen here. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. Doubles can contain decimals, and as seen here, they are, or if you're trying to declare a whole number or an integer as a double value, you can. However, you have to put the .0 or .0 afterwards, so it fits the format of a double type. And an integer value can be a double value as well. However, a double value cannot be an integer value because the double has decimal places, and an integer value cannot accept decimals. Moving on, we have the string variable. And strings are different because instead of numerical values, they are lines of text that can be stored within a variable. And I believe, I'm not sure if it's just Eclipse or not, but I believe that the string value or type is the only one that doesn't have a syntax highlight, such as double here turns purple when you type it in, or int, or boolean, or char. I don't think, or I do think that's just Java in general. It doesn't have a syntax highlight. But as seen here, right here, the content of what you're trying to store within a string variable has to be put within a set of double quotes, such as double quote, this is an awesome string, period, double quote, semicolon. Remember, all lines of code have to end in a semicolon. And I actually just remembered that I forgot to mention that this is the basic format of declaring a variable. The type, the variable name, equals and then the value and semicolon. And there are different ways of declaring them, but I may have to do a part 2 to this. I'm not sure, but we'll see how this goes, and I may end up. Moving on, a char or char, depending on how you want to pronounce it, is another text variable type. However, this one, declared within a set of single quotes, can only be a single letter value. It can't be a word, it can't be a sentence, it can't be 2 words. It has to be one character, and only a letter too. It can't be a number value, such as the letter A's, B, C, D, or in this case I set my type 4 variable to Z. The last one I'm going to be talking about in depth today is Boolean. Boolean, as seen here, is the true and false variable type. This type can have no other values other than true and false, and these are very important once we get into conditions and loops and stuff like that, where we can only execute stuff if it's true or false. And again, it begins Boolean name equals true or false. I just have it set to false right now. The other 4 variable types, as seen here, are float, short, long, and byte. These are all numerical value variable types, but they are more complex in how you declare them and their exact usage. So I'm not going to go into them right now, but hopefully if you guys want, I will later in a different tutorial. Excuse me. Down here in the system.out.prints, I didn't mention this before when I was showing you this in your Hello World program. However, this line does not only print a hard-coded or set value. It can also print out the value of a variable, as seen here. Like if the way I had you set it up before, we had it system.out.print, print or print line, and then within the quote or within the parentheses, excuse me, we had 2 quotes and then some line of text. So print this, but that's not the case always. You can also print out the value of variables, and to do that, all you have to do is type in the name of the variable within the parameters or parentheses. So I'm going to run this real quick and show you guys what it would print out. If I move this, you guys can see down here we have it laid out so it does the first type first and then all the way down. So the first line is 10. So if we look up here at our integer value, type 1 equals 10. So that's good. Type 2 being our double value, we have set to pi, or 3.14159, and again it prints out 3.14159. String value next, we have it set to this is a string variable, and it prints out this is a string variable. And same goes for the char being z, here's z, and Boolean being false, and here's false. However, the way that I may have just explained it makes it sound like you can only print out variables if you don't know any code before this. That is not true. You don't have to print out the value of a variable. That's not their main purpose. They can be used in a multitude of other things within coding. I'm just showing you now how you can alternatively use the system.out.print line of code to print out other things than just hard-coded text. Currently we're sitting at 9 minutes and 30 seconds, so I'm going to push this into a part 2 to show you guys how to actually use them and integrate them into a piece of code or a class or a program. So thanks for watching part 1, and I'll see you guys in part 2.